How many times a week should you lift weights? So this is going to be highly dependent on where you're coming from, what your goals are, and a few different factors. So let's dive into it. So in terms of frequency of lifting weights and how many times you're thinking about training, the first thing to think about is, where you're coming from. So if you are newer to training or newer to lifting weights, you want to go with a minimal effective dose because you're just going to, progress better in the beginning and faster. So the newer you are to lifting weights, the faster you're going to put on muscle. And so you want to take advantage of that in the beginning and not do too much too fast. So generally, if you're new to lifting weights, I typically say around 3 days per week is going to be more than enough. And as you become more advanced, upping that to 4 days a week and then potentially 5 days a week, those can be, good amounts per week as you kind of increase your training age is what we call it. So anywhere from 3 to 5 days per week is going to be a good place to be in terms of lifting weights. Going beyond that is going to be probably a little bit excessive for most people. I know a lot of us think, doing more is going to be better, but when it comes to lifting weights, that's not necessarily the case. And the reason for that is when you're lifting weights, when you're in the gym, resistance training and strength training, you're breaking your muscles down. And if you don't give your body the ability to recover, if you don't have rest days during the week, if you're not recovering optimally, when you go back to the gym the next day, if your muscles are still breaking down, you're not going to get the best bang for your buck when you go into that workout. So you need to make sure that you're recovering enough and recovering properly before you go back into your next lifting session. So for example, 3 to 5 days per week is a kind of a good range to be in. Typically, if you're doing 3 days a week, I like to keep that to more full body training, or you can do an upper, lower full body split. So upper body one day, lower body one day, and then your third day of the week is a full body split. That's kind of a good split there. If you're doing 4 days a week, that can be split up in many different ways. So you can do a upper lower split. So 2 days of the week you're doing upper body, 2 days of the week you're doing lower body, and you're leaving enough rest days in between. If you're doing 5 days a week, you can do a push-pull leg split. There's so many different types of splits you can do, but just realizing that you first want to get the amount of days that you're gonna lift in place first, and then you can worry about, structuring your split around that. But in terms of how many days a week you should lift, just think about, where you're starting at, what your goals are, and making sure that you're incorporating enough rest days and enough recovery days so that you can get as much out of your training as possible. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn more about nutrition, fitness, or metabolic flexibility, you can check out our website, metflexlife.com. There you can find our podcast, MetFlex and Chill, our nutrition and exercise programs, our latest blog posts, free recipes, and much more.